Hello and welcome to the Metabolic Wisdom Podcast. My name is Sara Childers and I am your host. This is our first episode, and in this first season of the Metabolic Wisdom Podcast, we're going to be really starting with the foundations of what it means to be a fully feminine woman, a fully embodied woman, because this podcast is a health podcast for women in their childbearing years, but it goes beyond that. It's much, much more than that. This podcast is not just about body, but I want this to be about body, mind, and spirit. So if you don't know me, my name is Sara Childers. I'm a registered dietitian, a holistic registered dietitian for women. And over the last few years, as a dietitian working in my own functional health space, I've been able to see a lot of the same patterns with a lot of the women that I work with who struggle with things like PCOS, hypothyroidism, weight loss control, weight gain, all the things, all the hormone, gut health, metabolic things. And believe it or not, most of us women are dealing with the same things. But unfortunately, most of our struggles are norms, barriers, lies set by modern society, which is what actually spurred me into starting this podcast, because I want this podcast to go beyond just being a health podcast for women in their childbearing years, but for us to really dig deep here and to see what the actual real issues are, because I feel like we're always focusing on the wrong things. So, what spurred me into kind of starting this podcast is because I have been on my own health journey. I've been on my own belief journey in the past few years, and I really want to share what I have been learning from people who are much wiser than I am through the books that I read or any sort of trainings, professional trainings that I do, or whatnot. And so this is really going to be teaching women how to become their fullest selves based on ancient wisdom in a modern world. And when I think of how important it is to change your life, I think about changing your health first, obviously, because I'm a dietitian and a certified personal trainer, and that's just kind of the mindset I'm in. We're going to talk about all things women's health and functional wellness, and even get a little bit into the mental and spiritual side of wellness, which cannot be forgotten if you want to be a fully embodied, fully feminine woman. I truly believe that that's a piece that we're missing a lot of the time, because our body is a vessel and a reflection of our lives, and our lives don't exist in a vacuum. Everything in our lives are related: the mental, the physical, the spiritual. So a little bit about me, since this podcast honestly will be a reflection of my worldview in a way. I'm a Jesus follower. I'm married, hopefully soon to start a family, and I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur, I guess you could say. I have my own wellness practice where I do functional lab testing. I do programs to help women balance their hormones and just some general health programs. It's actually called the Metabolic Wisdom Program. That is my general health program that I walk through with people, but I also help my husband with his businesses as well. So we do a lot of different things. Formerly, I am a personal trainer, and I love all the things that a lot of women love these days: reading, Pinterest, Desperate Housewives, all things mind, body, and spirit, cooking, all that. So enough about me. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about the woman that you want to be, because if we're going to talk about being a fully feminine, fully embodied woman on this podcast, we really need to know what that means. And a few weeks ago, I was actually with my husband. We went on an amazing vacation that we'll probably never get to go on again. We decided to take 2 weeks off, and we decided to go to Europe and go to Switzerland and Italy. And towards the last leg of our trip, I told myself I would not be on my phone as much as possible on this trip unless I was taking pictures and videos and stuff. I wouldn't be on social media, not scrolling, just trying to figure out, what my vision is for my business and what I want my, honestly, life's work to be. And I was thinking about my life's work and what I really want to send out into the world, I guess you could say, which is really deep to think about on a vacation where you're eating lasagna on the beach. But it felt right. And I got to thinking about the fully feminine woman. And the reason I was thinking about this is because I see so much in my clients that they are searching for something, and it goes so much deeper than health. They're searching for this woman inside of them that they want to come out, and the health is just one way to get started with that journey. And I honestly am biased, and I feel as though health is the best way to get started with that journey. And a lot of times, people start elsewhere, and that's cool, but this is a wellness podcast, so of course we're going to start there. But I believe that, every woman that I've had come through my practice who has done really well and has gotten great results has went on to not only change their health, but change their life. So it's kind of a cascading effect. And I said earlier that everything in your life is related, and your body is really just a reflection and a vessel of your life and all the interconnected things like mind, body, spirit. And I think that's so true, because you wouldn't believe how many women that I get messages from every day who have sent in maybe like a testimonial saying like, oh my gosh, Sarah, I lost 20 pounds, and now I am in a new relationship. Now I have this newfound confidence. Now I'm starting this new business. Now I'm pregnant. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing that. It all started with them believing in themselves, and with them actually having goals that they saw that they could achieve, and achieving them. And even if they needed a little bit of help along the way, they were able to see their own potential and a snowball effect in all other areas of their life. So anyways, I think it's such an amazing and cool concept that we can start in one area of our life and try to improve our lives so much in just that one area. But because we're diligent and because we are mission-minded and focused on, taking care of ourselves with just that one small goal, we end up having just the best ripple effect in every other area. And I'm not even talking about I'm really not even talking about the weight loss, the fertility. I mean, I am, but I've even noticed, when I see women able to take care of themselves, to take better care of themselves, and to really give themselves the love that they deserve, they become a more confident, fully embodied woman, and they become more attractive to men. They become a better friend. They become a better coworker, a better person to be around, because they're just walking around with this newfound confidence and power, honestly. And I just think it's electric. So when I was on this trip, I was thinking of the fully feminine woman. So I was thinking of this woman that's inside all of us, which I feel like this is so meta, but I was thinking of the fully feminine woman, the fully empowered woman who lives inside of us all, and what it means to become a fully feminine woman. And you might be thinking, Sarah, what do you even mean by fully feminine woman? When I say fully feminine, which fully feminine is a program that I have. It's a 12-week program where I work with you to help your gut health, your hormone health, just honestly rebuild your health from the ground up. And then towards the end, we start to talk a little bit about mindset and how you got to where you were to begin with, so you never go back there. But my vision for that and for this is just that we can kind of become that balanced woman that we need to be. So I was in Cinque Terre, and I was with my husband. We were at the beach, and I was spending a lot of time reading, and towards the first leg of the trip, and then the last leg, I was really just journaling a lot. And I have a point to this, and I have something I'm going to share with you, something that I actually wrote, but I need to explain myself first. So when I was thinking about my life's work, and when I was thinking about, what I feel that women need, just from working with over 500 women in the past year in my practice as a dietitian, I've been able to see so many patterns, as I said before. And one of the biggest things that I see is that ultimately every woman that I work with, and I've talked to 500 different women in the last year, so we have good statistics here. And I'm just talking about the last year because I want to keep it fresh, I've been a dietitian much longer than a year, but here we are. But anyways, after talking to 500 different women, and even women outside of who I work with in my practice, friends, family members, just, former co-workers, all the things, I feel as though deep inside of us, there is this woman that wants to come out, and we are trying to find her actively, and I think a lot of times we don't even know it. It's more of a subconscious thing where we want to be a fully embodied woman. We want to be a fully feminine woman. And what does that even mean? We want to innately live by our biological design. And, since I'm coming, from the Christian side of things here, I think we have this innate divine desire to be, that Proverbs 31 woman, I guess you could say, that, God wants us to be. And I don't think we actually even know what that entails all the time and what that means. And I think we're trying so hard to get there, and we look in the wrong places a lot of the time. And it can be really frustrating because when we're constantly trying to become that woman that we want to be, but we keep doing all the wrong things and looking in all the wrong places, we don't end up with the results that we want. And I think a lot of it has to do with our mindset. A lot of it has to do with our spirit a little bit, dare I say, even though I'm no monk, I'm no nun, I'm no preacher, I'm just little old me who is just wise enough to know that I know nothing. I think that a lot of us are looking in the wrong places, and I hope that this podcast can be a starting point. Not the end all be all, but the starting point of where to go from here. And the reason why I think health and wellness is a perfect place to get started with transforming your life as a woman is because I've seen it done so many times. So, as I said, in the last year, I have worked with over 500 different women. And prior to that, I was working with clients and also working in the health space. I was working with men and women, mostly women still, but I've had more of a honed in vision in the last year of what I want my business to be and who I want to serve. And those are women who are in their childbearing years, and that is who I've worked with the most in the last year. And when I look at the last year, and I see the women who have made such a crazy great transformation with their health, I'll see that those women have made a crazy good transformation with their life as well. So, you have women who come and they want to transform, and they start making the small goals and achieving the small goals and building that self-trust, building that self-confidence. And they start to see that they can do those hard things that they didn't think they could do before. And that tends to bleed into other parts of their life. I can't tell you how many clients that I email months after I've worked with them just to see how things have gone, because I'll do that sometimes. I'll just be like, hey, I was thinking about you and I just want to know how your progress is going. If there's anything I can do to help, just dropping in to see how life has treated you since we started to work together, since we've kind of finished everything off. What's up? And I can't tell you how many women are like, oh my gosh, Sarah, I lost all this weight and now I have a new job and I've been dating somebody and I just feel this newfound confidence. And I can just even tell in the way that they talk, either over email or if I see them in person or over the phone, like their voice sounds different. They are more vibrant, they're more energetic, they're more confident. I've even had other people who have, heard from a past client or two or so of mine that they worked with me and that they transformed their health in some sort of way, whether it was losing weight or helping with their thyroid or preventing a lot of things or helping with their fertility. I've had people come up to me and be like, I don't even recognize her. She literally acts like a different person in the best way. She has so much energy. She has so much zeal. And it's like she has her light back. And I mean, I've had women even message me and be like, I haven't really done anything special, but we've really stuck to what we've done. And I feel like I've gotten more confidence in myself and I felt really good just doing all the things that we said we were going to do, and now I'm pregnant. I get that message all the time. And I think that when you're able to start with something simple and tangible and controllable, like your health, you're able to transfer that energy and that mindset shift and that, dare I say, that just good aura to other parts of your life. And I think that's just a great way to transform your life. And if you are somebody who is already kind of like a go-getter, maybe you want to have the best life possible and make the most of your time here on this rock that is just floating in space, I think that life is all about transformation, and you're never there. You're never there. Like, it is a journey. So health is never linear, is what I tell people, and you're never really done. And so no matter what stage you're at or what level you're at with your health, feel as though this podcast can still give you something really good to work towards and to think about and to just keep transforming. Back to me sitting on the beach in Italy, thinking about what it's like to be a fully feminine woman. I was really thinking about this on, dare I say, a poetic level. I was thinking about, the essence of who we all want to become and what is the why behind why we change our health. We're searching for something. We're trying to reach that woman that is kind of inside of us that we think, the woman we think God wants us to be. And I wrote this, and it's about becoming a fully feminine woman. And I thought that it would be great to share this on the first episode of my Metabolic Wisdom Podcast to kind of give you an insight of where I kind of want to go with this podcast and the heart behind it. And if this is something that resonates with you, please let me know, because I read it to my husband and he was like, well, for one, he couldn't believe that I wrote it, and two, he was like, yes, I feel like this encompasses like your belief. And when we're thinking about how I can really impact, your life, listener, with what knowledge I have about the body, we need to think deeper than just numbers on a scale or even numbers on your lab test. We need to think deeper than just your hair loss or even the fact that you want to start a family. We need to think about, the woman you want to be. If you want to be on a health transformation journey, you need to have a deep, deep, deep embedded why. So, without further ado, because I really had a long introduction, let me read to you what it means to become a fully feminine woman. What it means to become a fully feminine woman. It means becoming the resourceful, thoughtful, wise, nurturing, and intentional beacon for those around you. It means starting with yourself, your health, your spirituality, your relationship with God, with your aspirations, and becoming the woman that you truly want to be before ever looking outside of yourself. Because womanhood radiates. It radiates into our relationships, career, community, children, and it's the proverbial mortar that helps to build the house of life, the house that is your life, and even the life of your family and everyone that you invite into that house. Being fully feminine goes beyond the standard. It gets into the messy and the groundbreaking. It is open to new thought patterns, but rooted in wisdom. Metabolic, spiritual, intellectual, and interpersonal wisdom. Becoming fully feminine means that you question everything. Societal norms, your beliefs, your values, how you spend your days, what you consume, what your body is telling you, and who you surround yourself with. Because being a fully embodied woman means cutting the clutter of a normal life and going back into your biological design that God made you for. Many of us women have started to wake up lately to the stirring in our spirits that something is missing, that we're out of touch with our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. I get so many clients who feel out of touch with everything. This can be a struggle for those of us who follow Yahweh, who follow Jesus. We want to be aligned with Him in every part of our being, and it's almost like we've made everything disconnected, as if God made us with no connection between mind, body, and spirit, which is not true. We don't believe that. So much of that bleeds into our culture, hustle culture, diet culture, social media, our relationships with ourselves. This is a huge piece of what I see in myself and the women that I work with every single day. I want this podcast to be a place where women realize their God-given power in nature. Don't get me wrong, I am wise enough to know that no one, including me, has all the answers. But I do have convicting thoughts. I believe that this whole process of breaking down the feminine woman is part of our sanctification. All part of our lives bleed together. The mingling of the different parts of our lives show us a bigger picture. I don't think it's wise to believe that everything exists in a vacuum. God wants us to see His hand in everything. He wants you to no longer be life's victim either. He wants you to start with something. Starting with your health is a great way to change your life. Everyone I have worked with who has transformed their health, transform their entire life in the process for the better. It's not just about you though. It's about everyone in your life. It's about the people in your life who need this version of you as well. So let's get into what it actually looks like to continue to break down what it means to be fully feminine and how I'll kind of go about it in this podcast, and we'll kind of learn as we go together. But some things I thought about talking a little bit about, and I already have some podcasts lined up and planned that I plan to deep dive into a lot of these subjects that I'm about to mention. But I mentioned mind, body, and spirit a lot in the past few minutes, just reading what I wrote, and also I kind of want to divide those up a little bit. So spirit, of course, is going to be our relationship with the Lord, our spirituality, like what part women play spiritually in kind of like your role with your husband, family, just the people around you. And then mind, mentality, mindset, relationships, our thought process. This is an area that I've done a lot of research on in the recent year or so, just because I've been on my own mindset journey in the last year or two or three. And so I really want to share a lot of the things that I've learned from that. But body will probably be the biggest thing that we talk about, because that is my specialty. So nutrition, herbals, holistic medicine, movement, connection with nature, even possibly when the time comes later on, birth, prenatal, and postnatal things, because I do work with clients to help them with their fertility, or to help them postpartum, or to help with their prenatal nutrition. And that's just so important, something that I'm absolutely so passionate about. So we'll definitely talk about that on this podcast. But we'll also talk a lot about consumption and what you let into your body. And this kind of ties them all together. So, having those boundaries of what you let into your mind, what you let into your body, and what you let into your spirit as a way to have that first initial barrier to entry to where you are protecting yourself from the rest of the world and how the rest of the world is when it comes to not only health, but just well-being overall as a human. We, especially as Christians, we don't want to be like the rest of the world. And I think we say that, but I don't think a lot of us mean it. Because when it comes to actually standing out and putting yourself out there, or not putting yourself out there, not going with the crowd, not going with the flow, we're not really doing that. We're not really sticking to our guns on that. So something I definitely want to talk about. And it's a short and sweet one, but that is the initial episode. That is the vision and mission behind this podcast. And I hope you love the mission and vision behind this podcast. I hope you listen to more episodes. I will have a lot of episodes lined up when I release this initial vision and mission podcast, I guess you could say, episode. So if you resonate, please leave a comment somewhere or message me. And message me or leave a comment about anything you would like for me to talk about in particular, whether that is cortisol, progesterone, hormones, gut health, whatever, I can talk about it. I'm so happy that you listened, and tune in for the next episode because I'm going to be building off of this mission and vision episode for the next few episodes at least. I hope you enjoyed this. I will be back, and until then, keep becoming your fully feminine self. Have a great week.